New companies and new designers are sprouting up lately so fast it's enough to make anyone's head spin. Look, I'm all for more options and fresh designs from fresh-faced designers. It's great for the community and for the industry. But from where I sit behind this desk writing this review for YouTube, it just keeps getting harder and harder and harder to decide what knives to pick up or check out, which ones are simply worth the time or the money. And Kansept was a brand that got a lot of screen time throughout the past 12 months, but it's also a brand that has never really piqued my interest quite enough for me to pull the trigger on any of their freshman effort models. But then this showed up for sale on Instagram and I said, hey, why not? Screw it. And this is the Kansept Shard, or to be more precise, the top-tier, top-shelf shard laden with Damascus highlights along the show side of the knife and the pocket clip. And that Damascus was like 85% of the reason I wanted to check this one out at all. I have never experienced the material up until this arrived a month or so ago, mainly due to the astronomical price increase that comes along with it. Looks-wise, of all of the Kansept models I have seen, the Shard here is the one that spoke to me the most. Now, I'm not saying it was a must-have knife as soon as I saw it, but it definitely spoke to me, whispered. The design is really clean and generally speaking very well executed. The subtle stonewash on the titanium handles, that full-size satin finish reverse Tonto style blade done up in S35VN, minimal hardware, and the really nice looking Damascus pocket clip. The clip carries relatively well, nice and snug in the pocket, easy going in, easy coming out, and the blade nestles so neatly inside the handles when it's closed, it's just a darn clean looking piece, opened or closed. Especially closed if I'm being honest. Size-wise, this is a full-size knife, by the way. The blade is 3.5 inches long and opened up, the overall length is about 8 inches on the nose. And overall, I think it's a really nice looking knife, but I could really do without the horrendous tribal armband tattoo looking logo on the blade. Kansept, you need a new logo, please. Hey, now then, moving away from the glitzy and glamorous aesthetics, the ergos here are, well, they're fine. They're not anything particularly special. The knife is good and comfy in the hand, and the fact that it is a full-size knife means most any size pair of hands will comfortably get a hold of it. No hot spots or pinch points to report, but the Shard here lacks any semblance of jimping or grippy textures, just none at all, completely smooth top to bottom. And even though that blade is as big as it is, we don't have any kind of finger choil, which means no room to choke up, and on a knife this size I would really like to have one. And in this case, not having one means I feel about 8.5 miles away from the cutting edge, and it makes the whole thing feel kind of awkward and out of control, even while doing the most simple of tasks. So overall, the Shard here, generally speaking, is not uncomfortable, but it's not even close to an ergonomic masterpiece. Now then, moving on to that blade, like I said before, this is S35VN, which is a fine steel for any EDC-oriented folding knife, but it's nothing exceptional. The reverse Tonto here looks great overall, nice and aggressive with a touch of class. And honestly, it performs pretty well. This is a tallish flat grind that meets that swedge, that comes about 20% down the height of the blade. I would have preferred a full flat grind or even a hollow grind on this style of blade, but whatever. This thing still came with a dynamite edge out of the box, and cutting performance and edge retention has been pretty darn solid. Nothing to write home about, but a good slicer for your general EDC tasks. And finally, the action. Well, I didn't know much about this knife before I bought it, other than the fact that I thought it looked nice, but I had assumed that it was a flipper with deployment slots. I was right and wrong on that point. Yes, this is primarily a flipper, and that blade is running on cage bearings. The bearings are good and smooth and darn near gritless. The detent, however, is kind of soft and mushy, almost too soft even for me, and not horrible or anything, just soft, S-A-W-F-T. You have to really give it the beans to get that blade to snap open, but once you give it the gas, it does swing right out. The deployment slots I have a real issue with. You can very easily use your thumb to wheel it out or flick this thing open, and the detent issues aside, it feels pretty satisfying to do so, but try to reverse flick this piece and you will be sorely disappointed. Because you can't. I mean, come on, Kansept. You can't make something this pretty and this expensive with all of the fidgety potential just to take me to the edge without letting me finish. It's rude. The action is fine, but the spoiled knife slut in me is left begging for just a little bit more out of it. So, where does all this leave me with the Kansept Shard and the Damascus accents? Well, at last check, this particular variant retails at $300. Disclaimer, I sure as shit did not spend that much, and at that price, I really don't see any value at all. especially considering the blade is only S35VN and all of the other variants of this exact same knife without the Damascus are almost all between 170 and 200 bucks. And at 170 bucks, sure, I can totally live with the shortcomings here. But if I had to pay full retail for this particular variant, only to be edged this hard, I probably would have been pretty pissed off. It's a great looking piece and an excellent piece of design, but it misses the mark for me as far as being a good knife. So until next time, thank you for watching. Bye bye now.